2020 marks the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment, which guaranteed women, or at least white women, the right to vote. Since then, a lot has changed for women in America, and so has the conversation surrounding their rights. Let's take a look at some of the biggest developments in the fight for equality over the past century. After the Industrial Revolution, the role of many women in society was that of the housewife. However, as education and commercial enterprises expanded, women began entering the workforce in the 20th century. Unfortunately, employers found a number of reasons to pay women lower wages than their male counterparts. This stemmed from the assumption that men had to be paid to support a family, and most women who entered the pre-World War II workforce were single and therefore could be paid less. This fight still exists today and is where the phrase equal pay for equal work stems from. Women remain underrepresented in the workforce, especially as you look up the corporate ladder. One study found that white men make up over 65% of senior VP and executive level positions compared to 19% of white women, and women of color only make up 4% of executive positions. It's impossible to make a decision that benefits everybody if only a portion of the population is at the table. And if you're the only woman in the room, studies show you are more likely to be the target of microaggressions, sexual harassment, and have your abilities questioned. This is why representation matters. One of the most important developments for equality in education was Title IX. This federal law states that no person in the U.S. can be excluded on the basis of sex from any education program or activity that receives federal funding. Before Title IX, it was perfectly legal for some colleges and universities to refuse to admit women. Now, more women than men are enrolled in college, and more women are going into traditionally male-dominated fields such as science and technology. Title IX also increased access to sports and athletic scholarships for female athletes. While the 19th Amendment may be turning 100 this year, there's another amendment that's almost as old, but you may be surprised is still not technically federal law. The Equal Rights Amendment was first introduced to Congress in 1923. The amendment would federally ban sex discrimination, and some legal scholars say it could prevent the rollback of laws protecting women's rights, such as the Supreme Court's decision on Roe v. Wade and the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act. The amendment officially passed both houses in 1972 and created a 7-year deadline for states to ratify it, meaning 3/4 or 38 out of 50 state legislatures officially approved the measure. While it seemed destined for ratification, the amendment failed to receive state approval in time to meet the deadline. In early 2020, Virginia became the 38th and final state needed to ratify the amendment, and the U.S. House of Representatives voted to remove the deadline. The bill's fate now lies in the Senate. A total of 26 states have passed equal rights amendments for their state constitution, but without a federal ERA, the only right that the U.S. Constitution explicitly applies equally to men and women is the right to vote. So, as we celebrate this anniversary, it's important to remember that the fight for equal rights is far from over. What issues surrounding women's rights are important to you?